All right, so let's look at some examples. Now, these aren't exactly how you would use these, but these are a straightforward sort of application of this formula. So we'll look at these two. Let me put this up here so we can reference it. So remember, this is our sum formula for cosine. We're adding two angles, alpha and beta. So alpha is played by pi over 6 and beta pi over 4. And so what do? We look at the right-hand side of this formula. It's cosine of the first one, cosine of the second one, minus sine of the first one, sine of the second one. And so what do we put in here? The first one's pi over 6. The second one's pi over 4, pi over 6, and pi over 4. So now, if we know what the cosine of pi over 6 is, then we can just use our unit circle, square root of 3 over 2, times the cosine of pi over 4, square root of 2 over 2, and then minus sine of pi over 6 is 1/2, and sine of pi over 4 is also square root of 2 over 2. So we're multiplying these and then subtracting. So just multiply. This is multiplying fractions, so we're multiplying across the top and across the bottom. So square root of 6 over 4 minus square root of 2 over 4. And notice we now have a common denominator, so we can at least do this. And this is about as good as we're going to do. You can put this in a calculator to get an approximation, but on a test and things, we want to do this just in terms of the square roots. All right. And then the second one is a difference using sines. So we're going to go to the sine difference formula. And let's see, I can just... here. So notice it's going to go sine of the first thing, cosine of the second thing, minus cosine of the first thing, sine of the second thing. And those things are alpha is 5 pi over 6, and cosine is beta is 3 pi over 4. And now we just refer to the unit circle and compute these. So sine of 5 pi over 6 is 1/2. Cosine of 3 pi over 4 is negative square root of 2 over 2. Maybe I'll use parentheses since we have a negative here now. And then cosine of 5 pi over 6 is negative square root of 3 over 2. And sine of 3 pi over 4 is just square root of 2 over 2. So we're going to do something similar here. This is negative square root of 2 over 4 plus, because we have the two negatives, square root of 6 over 4, which is the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 over 4.